What's up YouTube, this is Coding for Noobs, and today we're going to start preparing for our array sorting tutorial. And pretty much all I've done so far is from our last project that we made for our file handler. So I just deleted all the code, so all we have is buffered input left. So I don't remember if you remember from the last tutorial. If you don't, I suggest you go grab the source and you can actually just copy and paste it over, I guess. But I'm just leaving it here because we're actually going to use our input, and we need our input variable, and we're going to need this namespace here. The other thing you need to worry about is to make sure that your randoms.txt is inside your project folder. So if you're creating a new project for this, make sure that inside your folder for that project you have your randoms.txt that we made a few tutorials back with our random number array inside of it. So the reason why I'm doing it this way, we're actually going to load the array from a file, is just so you guys get some more practice with file reading and writing, because it is an important tool to be able to use when programming in any language, to be able to read from a file. And it's better you get used to it now than later when you need to, because you might come across problems, and these problems might occur in these tutorials, and we'll be able to work through them together, and I'll be able to help you fix them opposed to them like happening and you being like, oh great, now what? I'm stuck. But yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is actually create a function, and we're going to use this function to load our array from the file. So in our function, the data type is actually going to be an int array, and then we're going to call it get random int. And then there's going to be no parameters, because we're just going to set the file path here. So string path equals new string, and then sorry about that, string blah blah blah. Okay, then we're going to have random.txt, I believe it is. Yeah, there we go. So that's just our file path. And now what we have to do is actually, let me comment this in first. So we're just going to call this variable declaration, and then we have we need to declare our buffered reader. So buffered reader input equals new buffered reader, and then I believe it's new file reader, and then path, and then we close our brackets like that. And we're gonna get a quick error right here that we could fix. And to do that, all we're gonna do is hover over and do the add throws declaration, and that is file not found. We don't need that one. We need the throws IO exception. Alright, cool. The next thing we're going to do right away is we're just going to declare our array equals new int and then 100, because if you remember from our last tutorial, we actually created an array that had 100 values in it. And then at the bottom of our function, we're just going to do return array real quick. And as you can see, all of our errors are gone now. And all that's left to do is read the array from the file and store the values. And then output is really just returning our loaded array of random integers. Alright, 1 second please, I'm just going to pause the video. Sorry about that, guys. There might be a few pauses here and there. There's a few important things going on in my life right now, which I prefer not to discuss on here, and I may just be checking my messages, my text messages every now and then. But back to the tutorial. So we were just about to read from our array, so we have to read 100 values. So to do that, we're just going to do for int, so our counted loop I is equal to 0, well I is less than our array.length I plus plus, and then our brackets. So what we're saying here is we're going to read 100 values. So I'm just going to comment it in. Read 100, or not read 100, but loop 100 times. And it's 100 times because array has 100 values in it. By default, the 100 values are all going to be equal to 0 or null. And what we have to do now is set the values from our random.txt. And to do this, all we have to do is input.read line, and what that's going to do is it's going to read the line, and we're actually going to do it right here. Sorry, I have to do array I equals input.readLine. There we go. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to set each index of the array to whatever we read from each line of the file. But if you remember in our last tutorial, we can't actually set an integer to a string, and we can't cast it. So what we have to do is we have to use that special parsing tool that we learned how to use in our last video. So integer.parse int, and all we do is slap in the parameter, which is input.readline, and that's actually going to handle everything for us. So what we do here is set each array value equal to the files equal to each file line. We have to parse string to int to set the array values. So I'm just commenting everything because I'm actually going to release this source after as well. That way you guys know how to that way you guys, like, in case you guys have any problems, you can compare your code to mine. And yeah, so we have our buffered reader under our main entry point, so where our program starts first. All we have is our input reader. And actually, real quick, I forgot to do something. We have to go back to get random int and close our file string. So we have to do input.close, and what this is going to do is it's just going to stop using that file so that other programs can use it. Okay. Yeah, alright, so the next thing we're going to do is declare int randoms equals get random int, and all that's going to do is what's our error here? Oh, sorry, int array. So our integer array, like our integer is going to be an array, sorry. So randoms is equal to loading of our random file. So just to show you how that this worked, I'm really quickly just going to slap it in a for loop. So for int I equals 0, while for int I is equal to 0, while s is less than randoms dot length I plus plus, and then we'll just do system.out.println array I. Array I. Or no, it's not array, it's random. It's wrong method, sorry. Randoms array I. There we go. So all this is going to do real quick is let us know that all the values have been loaded. And if we scroll to the top of our console window now, and we go back to our directory with our random integers in it, you'll see that they match and that we did successfully load our file. So we just go in here, random.text, and you can see that we did successfully load our file. 31, 31, 37, 37, 26, etc., etc., etc. These numbers on the side are just line counting, sorry. So I don't know if that's confusing or not. But just know 31, 31, 37, 37, 26. Now, what we want to do next is we're going to be creating some functions, and these functions, what they're going to do is they're going to sort for us. But before we create these functions, just to make it a little bit cleaner, because we're going to be incorporating multiple functions inside this program, we're going to create a mini little menu for our program. And to do this, we're going to create another method this time. So public static void, and we're going to call it display menu. And inside this method, all we're going to do is output the options in our menu. So we're going to do system.out.println, and the first option we're going to have, or not the first option, but the last option we're going to have is exit program. And all this is going to do is, like, this whole menu, all it's going to do is display the menu to the user. So as we add more and more sorting algorithms, all we have to do is system.out.println, and then we'll have like 1, and the first sort that we're actually going to go through is called bubble sort. And yeah, so this is how it's going to work. And then we'll have like another sort, insertion sort, and quick sort, and heap sort, and stuff like that, and we're just going to keep adding to our menu. But now we have to go back to our main method real quick, and we're just going to whip up a basic like menu-based kind of program. Before we do that, I'm just going to quickly do EOP, or end of program, and we're going to have system.out.println thank you for using our application. And then that's just like something nice, and typically programs have, like, just end of program, it's done. But yeah, back to our program now. We're going to have to create a main loop for our program. So we're going to have string str equals new string. And pretty much what we're going to do now is we're going to create a while loop. So while str dot parse, integer dot parse int str is not equal to 999. We're just going to run our loop like that. So what we're saying is while the user did not enter 999, we are going to keep looping. And pretty much all that means is, like, as we see here, it says negative 999. So while the user has not entered in 999, we're going to keep running our program. And inside here, we're going to do display menu. And what this is going to do is display the program's menu to the user. And then this loop just says continue until the program, or until the user has chosen to exit the application. And that's pretty much all we're going to be doing in this tutorial. In our next tutorial, I'm going to introduce something called the switch statement, and it's kind of like the if statement, kind of not. It's pretty useful actually, and I think you'll like it for menus. But yeah, so we're going to use the switch statement and finish up our basic program in our next tutorial. And then in our tutorial after that, we're going to start with bubble sort. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or I was unclear on something, feel free to let me know, and I'll either make a new video or just comment explaining it a little bit better for you. Please comment on my videos, subscribe, whatever you have to do to get it through to me, subscribing just really supports me, and really does help me out in the long run. But it'll also help you too, because you'll get the tutorials faster. But yeah, anyways, thanks guys for watching. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.